So today we have some small updates to the game, but a very interesting thing was found in the files by Zabi, so let's talk about all of those. So first of all, we have some minor bug fixes, the Z10ME, for example, got laser IRCM, bug fixed, and also the MiG-29 Sniper got a bug fixed that the animation of the air brake was not really working. And for example, the camouflages for the SAMs now are properly working for the multi-vehicles. It wasn't really working for you to obtain those camouflages. And of course, each vehicle destroyed by multi-vehicle SAMs were not really working, so it was just a lot of little things like that, right? But the major thing that I wanted to talk about with you guys is this. So Zabi actually found a HUD text for the AIM-9X. Does that mean anything? No, it doesn't mean anything. But it is interesting for us to talk a little bit about it, because a HUD text would basically be the HUD inside the aircraft, okay? This would be basically the, since of course tanks don't have HUDs, you would basically have this as a little X on the actual HUD, on the F-16 or F-15 or whatever the aircraft was, for meaning that you chose an AIM-9X, okay? No aircraft right now uses the AIM-9X on the HUD, so they are for sure considering adding it. This might be just groundwork for that. Maybe it's just internally for to test, basically, right? Does it mean it's coming next patch or this week or whatever? No, it doesn't mean nothing, basically, right? But it is interesting to consider. And it is interesting to think about. Are we ready for these missiles? Honestly, I think we are kinda ready. With the way that they added these missiles, imaging infrared, being not really an imaging infrared, but actually a dual IRCCM seeker, right? Means that it is actually possible to defeat these missiles. It is very hard, and these missiles are very powerful, but let's be honest with you guys, if they don't add these missiles, it doesn't need to be now, but if they don't add these missiles beforehand, with the 5th generations coming in a soonish future, maybe next year, it would mean that it would be very, very hard to balance, especially the 5th gens themselves, compared to the 4th gens, because they would need to have these missiles, and they would have to not only balance the performance and everything else, but also these missiles, right? So I think it's a great addition that they added these missiles as AA vehicles, the AIM-9X, the IRIS-T SLM, the normal IRIS-T, the Python 4 or 5, right? Technically in the Spider. All of these missiles are great to see in the game, even if they're not added for aircraft, for them to actually properly implement them, right? We all know, like, for example, what a poor implementation of a missile can do to a missile, right? The R-73 initially was just flipping around. Even today, if you really fired in a very, very high AOA situation, it would mean that the missile would just topple around, and it's still kind of an annoying bug that happens to that missile, but it's less than what it was before, right? So having these missiles already in the game, properly implemented, getting fixed, and then afterwards adding for these aircraft, I think it's a great idea, right? And again, we need these for us to actually have a proper 5th generation fight when they come, to be balanced, right? Because the 4th generations need to have something to fight 5th generations with, even if it's the same missiles that they will use, but something that it's better than the missiles that we have, right? So I think it's great. Does it mean anything? Like I said, no, but at least it means that they are considering it, right? It means that the groundwork, maybe it's there for them to do internal testing. I would assume that a HUD text, it's one of the final steps of adding a new missile to an aircraft, right? But still, I think it's a good sign, because we need those missiles to have a proper 5th generation when they come, even if it's next year or 2027 or whatever, right? So let me know in the comments what you think about that. It is an interesting addition. Like I said, it doesn't mean anything, but it is interesting to think about what would that look like, okay? So let me know in the comments, like I said, would you like to see an AIM-9X, IRIS-T, R-74, stuff like that coming to the game right now? Let me know in the comments, and I see you guys on the next one. Make sure to subscribe and leave a like, and bye. See you.